Hello, friends, and welcome to HitBullsEye. My name is Manish Mittal, and I'm back with your daily dose of current affairs. So, first of all, thank you so much for your response to this video series. We're getting a lot of messages from our students who are saying that they are greatly benefited by this daily dose. And the most important point that I have received so many messages from students who are saying that it is now becoming extremely clear to them like how to select news, because that was a usual query that many students were sending me, that because I always suggest that you read newspapers daily. So the common question or the common query used to be that how to decide which news to read and which news to leave, because you of course cannot read all the news in the newspaper. It's going to take like more than 2 to 3 hours, especially for the unversed who are starting, who are just getting started. So I used to give suggestion that you can read two editorials, or you can read the Indian Express Explained, or you can read the front page, but still I somehow understood, and I still understand that in a newspaper, around 8 to 10 news every day are to be read, out of which 5 to 6 news are such that you should never miss, because the straightaway factual papers are set from those news items. And I'm really happy that many students have now told me that after watching these videos for over a month, they have been able to identify the core areas from where questions are asked. For example, if a new book has been written, so books and authors, if a new award has been given, right? Or if a new initiative has been launched by some government schemes and interventions, international relations. So I'm happy that because these things cannot be taught in a day. So once you start watching these videos, so over a course of 1 month, at least, you'll try to understand, different areas which are asked in the exam. So that way, your brain will start attracting only those news items which you know are important. And just by reading at a particular news item, just by reading a headline, you will be clear that, okay, this news is relevant and this one is irrelevant. So that is the level of clarity that you will gain, but over a period of time. So your mind, that filter automatically gets fitted in your mind. And just by looking at the headline, you will be able to know whether this news is relevant for me or is not relevant for me. Also, the answer may vary for some people depending upon the exam they are preparing for. So for some exams, one news may be important. For some, it may not be very important. Say, for example, if you're preparing for CLAT exam, the common law aptitude test, so you also need to pay a bit more attention towards Supreme Court judgments, the bills and laws that have been passed by the government of India. But if you're preparing for some management or commerce entrance exams, then those Supreme Court judgments may not be that relevant for you. For you, commerce and business news, mergers and acquisitions, the CEOs of new private companies, etc., that kind of news may be more relevant. So here our endeavor is to give you a common set of 5 news every day that can be relevant for any set of exams. They may include news from international, from national affairs, from government policies and measures, books and authors, from awards, right? From economy, polity, from every sphere. So that the most important quality that is required, that is that you should have holistic knowledge about everything that is going on in your country and around the world. With that endeavor, we select these news items, and this is the bare minimum that you need to cover. Please do not consider these videos as comprehensive knowledge. We are not going deep into anything. We are deliberately keeping the length of the videos short so that you are encouraged to watch it at the end of the day. Even if you had an exhaustive day, even if you are slugging it day in and day out, you have read hours in a day, still at the end of the day, you should try to relax after your dinner time, and you should try to watch this 10 to 15-minute video so that you learn 5 new things, even if you have missed them. That is our endeavor here. So let us see what are the 5 things that you should know on 8th of February 2022. First, the Ministry of Power under the Government of India organized Powerthon 2022, which is ethical hacking workshop. So we'll study about that. Next is the Paray Shikshalaya, which is an initiative of West Bengal government. We'll see what this is. Generally, you get questions around this, some scheme launched by a particular state government. Next, Santishree Pandit is in news. She has been appointed at an important designation, which we will get to know in a minute. Next, Operation Aaht has been launched by the Ministry of Railways. We'll see what is Operation Aaht. And finally, Pradhan Mantri Matru Vandana Yojana, or PMMVY, has been creating a bit of controversy. So we'll see what that controversy is about. And it is a very, it's a fodder for examiners. So when they are setting papers, they usually pick controversial topics, or because of the controversy, the thing is in news, like government schemes or international relations. So we'll have a look at PMMVY as well. Starting with the first one, which is Powerthon 2022. So it is a hackathon exercise. So hackathon means, if I tell you in simple language, it is ethical hacking workshop. So what is ethical hacking? It is hacking. So somebody is hacking into a system or a particular software, and the government is allowing that to happen. Why? Because the government is paying you to hack. Now, why would government do that? Why would the government pay you or reward you for hacking into a software system, that too of the government itself? Because by hacking, the loopholes of the system shall be revealed. And once you hack into it, you will not do any damage to the system. You will simply tell that I was able to hack through this particular channel. Now, since we are not well versed with software, computer software or software engineering, so basically the programmers and the software developers, they are able to hack into such systems, and that, that highlights the loopholes in the system. And then those loopholes are reported to the government or the concerned agency, and they plug those loopholes so that somebody else cannot hack into the system. So it is to reward your skill of, the knowledge of software. So that is what these workshops are for. And here, this Powerthon workshop is a hacking competition to find technology-driven solutions to solve the complex problems in power distribution. I think last month there was a case where a particular state government's online bill payment system was briefly hacked, and some money was siphoned off. So a few lakh rupees was siphoned off from the government's coffers. So to save any such problem, or to avoid any such situation, such workshop should be organized not only by the Ministry of Power, but by other stakeholders in other ministries as well. So that is why such workshops are announced. So this workshop was conducted by the Ministry of Power, and right now the Power Minister of India is Mr. R.K. Singh. Right? So innovators, software developers, etc., they took part in this workshop. Next, the scheme of Paray Shikshalaya. So what is Paray Shikshalaya? It is a scheme for open air classrooms. So open air classroom, particularly due to the COVID-19 situation, it has been launched by the government of West Bengal. So West Bengal is a very important fact that you need to know here. As you can see in the picture, so Paray Shikshalaya means that just because due to COVID-19, so many schools are not able to conduct full-time classes, many councillors, MLAs, etc., they are setting up such, you can say, makeshift infrastructure in open spaces like community centers, parks, gardens, or other public places, or maybe in a street as well, where students can come out, they can maintain social distancing, and they can learn something. Because there are people who are so poor, they cannot even afford gadgets for online classes. So for them, the government has come up with open air classrooms so that they may attend classes along with not getting affected with COVID-19. So it is to encourage those students who dropped out of school during COVID-19. It's a very ironical situation, or it's a very sad situation, that due to COVID-19, some gains that we have made in the preceding few years in nutrition, in healthcare and in primary education were lost because of the sudden jolt of pandemic. But now we are trying to bounce back. So this is one such initiative where those students who had to drop out because of the COVID-19 and because they could not afford digital education, so they are tried to be brought into the educational fold once again. So the initiative initially was only for primary school students from first to fifth standard, but now the students of class 6 and 7 have also been included into the initiative. The schools which do not have open air spaces have conducted their classes in parks and grounds, and the counselors and MLAs, etc., are helping those students and those schools with makeshift infrastructures. It's a good thing. With this, we can ensure that the gains that we have made under the Right to Education Act in the preceding 7 to 8 years of COVID-19 will not be lost. Next, so Santishree Pandit is making a lot of news because she has been appointed as the first woman vice chancellor of Jawaharlal Nehru University. So 2 days back in a video, we discussed that the erstwhile or the ex-vice chancellor of JNU has been appointed as the chairman of University Grants Commission. So that has that had left the position empty, and now Ms. Santishree Pandit, who was a political science professor at Savitribai Phule Pune University, has been given the task of managing Jawaharlal Nehru University. So she was appointed by President Ramnath Kovind. It's an interesting fact because some of us may tend to overlook that who has appointed her. Always remember the fact that in a central university, the chancellor is the President of India. So the President of India is the ex officio chancellor of many central universities. In some central universities, even vice president may be the vice chancellor, maybe the chancellor. For example, in Punjab University, Chandigarh, the vice president of India is the ex officio chancellor of the university. But in case of Jawaharlal Nehru University, it is the President of India who acts as the ex officio chancellor. But chancellor rarely visits the university because of many other engagements. So vice chancellor is the full-time, responsible for looking after the university. And Mr. M. Jagdish Kumar was the vice chancellor of JNU, and now he has been appointed as the chairperson of University Grants Commission. Yes, Delhi University also is a central university, and it also has President Ramnath Kovind as its chancellor. So yes, Delhi University and Jawaharlal University, both are central universities. So JNU is a public central major research university, and it was established in 1969 and named after Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister of India, who died in 1964. So just 5 years after his death, this university was set up and named after him as a mark of honor. Next, Operation Aaht has been launched. So Operation Aaht, now the name should be an indication. So Aaht means some intuition about something or information about something. So Aaht should be interpreted in that way. So Operation Aaht means sometimes, not sometimes, very often, long route trains are used for human trafficking. So there are many women who are in teenage or in even smaller age. They are trafficked from one state to another for prostitution or for begging or for organ trade, So to stop such things, the Railway Protection Force has launched this nationwide operation so that human trafficking can be curbed. In many cases, it has been seen that wherever the offenders were caught, they were usually, the RPF was usually informed by some passenger, some co-passengers in the train. But now the RPF is trying to institutionalize this mechanism where RPF Jawans will be deployed in long route trains so that they can identify the victims, particularly women and children, from the clutches of such traffickers. So they will be randomly checking long route trains. They can ask any question to anyone. They can check the identity cards, and that way they'll be able to locate any trafficking if at all it is happening. So the reserve or the railway protection force will act as a bridge across states to assist the local police in this mission, because generally that is the problem. The state police is under the control of the state government and has a limited jurisdiction, right? So if a train is moving interstate from one state to another, it is easy for the traffickers to evade the the eyes of law. But the railway protection force does not have that shortcoming. A railway protection force personnel can travel anywhere within India in trains, and if any crime is happening anywhere in India on any train, then it is under the jurisdiction of the railway protection force. And of course, when the train will stop at any station, whichever state it falls in, the offenders are to be handed over to the concerned state police. But here, that gap is going to be filled by the railway protection force. And that is why Operation Aaht is really important. Next and final news. So Pradhan Mantri Vandana Yojana has been creating a bit of controversy nowadays. So as the name suggests, since the name contains Pradhan Mantri, it means it's a national level scheme. That's a way to identify it. So it's not a state government scheme, it's a central scheme. Second, Matru Vandana Yojana. So Matru means motherhood. So Matru Vandana means whenever a woman attains motherhood, it is a way of extending financial incentive or financial remuneration to the woman for a certain sundry expenses. So it is a central government scheme and it's a maternity benefit program, and 5,000 rupees is provided on the first child, and it will also be extended to the second child, but only if the second child is a girl child. So this has created a bit of controversy. The opposition parties are demanding that it should not be granted only if it is a girl child. It should also be granted if it's a male child. So it should be universalized and should not be selectivized. That is what is generating a bit of controversy here. So the scheme was launched in 2017 by the central government, and it provides 5,000 for the birth of first child to partially compensate a woman for loss of wages. There is another scheme which is over and above this scheme, that is Janani Suraksha Yojana. So under Janani Suraksha Yojana, 1,000 rupees is given for an institutional birth, so that a woman gets a total of 6,000 rupees as incentive. And this scheme, Janani Suraksha Yojana, is specifically aimed at increasing institutional deliveries, because it was seen that in most of the infant mortality and child mortality cases, the institutional birth was not there. So to increase institutional deliveries, this particular thing was done. So now in various remote areas and many poor people, they prefer to go to a government hospital because they know they will get some money in exchange of that. And due to that, due to institutional support, due to doctors, due to nurses and all the health infra, the chances of the newborn getting, a newborn dying is reduced to a significant extent. So that fulfills two purposes for the government. So now the Minister for Women and Child Development, Smriti Irani, has told the Lok Sabha that the maternity benefit of 6,000 will be provided to the second child as well, but only if it's a girl child. So it remains to be seen whether the government extends this benefit to a second male child as well, or only to a second female child. But as the provision stands now, it is provided to the first child no matter whether it's a male or female, but to the second child only if it's a female. With this, the government is trying to encourage, you can say discourage pre-birth sex selection and encourage giving birth to female fetus. So that is, these are the 5 important news for today about a government scheme, about the appointment of a new person as a GNU VC, then about a hackathon workshop. So different spheres of news should be picked when you read a newspaper. Even sometimes international page is important, sometimes the business page is very important. The front page usually is very important. So that is all that we needed to cover today. If you liked the video, please also check out the link in the description. Go check out the website gk.hitbullseye.com, where a few such resources which are free of cost can also be downloaded, and you can make use of that. Also give this video a thumbs up and share it with as many people as possible. Thank you so much and take care.